Hey guys, how you doing today? Dave and Alex here from the Hyperspace Vault, and today we're going to do something a little different. Today we're going to take a look at the Fennec Shand Vintage Collection figure and the Fennec Shand Black Series figure at the same time, compare them, and see which one's better. All right, guys, welcome back. Before we get started, first off, we're going to give you a little update on our 1,000 subscriber giveaway that we announced recently. 2 Black Series figures we're going to give away so far, and we're going to do some vintage collection figures too. As soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be doing this giveaway. We're about a little over 200 subscribers away. So help the channel out, subscribe to our channel, and we'll be doing a huge 1,000 subscriber giveaway. All right, so back to Fennec Shand, and this is the first time we've done this type of video where we compare the vintage collection figure with the Black Series figure at the same time. So if you like this format and you would like to see us do it more, whenever we can find the figures, close together like this. So right off the bat, you look at the vintage collection one, really nice card. Looks like the vintage collection one actually comes with more accessories.
Yeah.
And then the Black Series one, in the Book of Boba Fett colors.
The vintage collection one is just, with the card back image.
Yeah.
Inside of Jabba's palace.
So what we're going to do, we're going to open these simultaneously and get them both out at the same time instead of doing one by one. So Alex is going to be looking and reviewing the vintage collection one, and I am going to be looking and reviewing the Black Series figure.
But first, let's take a closer look at the packages. The side of the Black Series box has the side art, which we all know and love. And then the back of both of them, there we are. This is, the vintage collection is VC 221, and Fennec Shand of the Black Series is #1 in the Book of Boba Fett series.
All right, so let's get both of these cracked open, and I'm kind of anxious about cracking open Fennec Shand, the vintage collection figure, because we've never seen that figure before, and probably won't ever again. I never saw it at retail or any place.
Yeah.
But we need it open to interact with our Razor Crest and Navarro Cantina and Slave One, our vintage collection Slave One. So
yeah,
it's definitely a figure we need to have open. So as much as I want to keep it on card, I think we need it open more. All right, so let's get started. All right, so here are both the figures out in their blister packs. And you can see the Black Series figure does not come with any additional accessories that were hidden by the box. That's unfortunate because you can see all these accessories with the vintage collection figure.
Yeah, it's just sad.
All right, so we have both figures unboxed fully and posed up here. And right off the bat, I think both figures look really good. Both have their pluses and minuses. And starting off with the Black Series figure, I'm just going to say that overall it's a nice figure. There's no soft goods, whereas the vintage collection one does have soft goods. That's kind of a letdown for the Black Series.
Yeah.
Also, this figure, you can't really pose it like in the artwork and the image up above because the figure doesn't have butterfly joints in the shoulders, so you can't get that extra arm rotation around the gun and stuff. So that's kind of hinders the figure a little bit. The Black Series figure has a removable helmet, whereas the vintage collection has a swappable head. I'm not sure which one has the most advantage. I mean, the helmet does look a little large on the Black Series figure versus you do have a proper proportioned helmet for the vintage collection figure because it's swappable. It's a swappable head. The vintage collection figure comes with a lot more accessories than the Black Series figure.
Yeah, that was just insane. The Black Series figure only comes with 2 accessories, the helmet and the rifle. And then the vintage collection figure would come with 1, 2, 3, 4 accessories.
Yeah, I don't understand why the Black Series figure, it could have came with the little, the jug with the drinking bottle or whatever you call it, the vase. I mean, why couldn't they just molded one of those and thrown that into the Black Series package? I mean, it would have been easy for them to do.
Yeah, could have came with one of those like little knives that she pulls out of the back, out of the stock of her rifle.
Yeah, that would have been a nice touch too.
But all we get is just the helmet and the rifle. So
All right, so let's take a look at the head sculpts of both figures. I'm going to remove the helmet on this one, on the Black Series one. Also, this helmet, it does, as far as having a visor, I thought maybe I don't know if we can get in there and see. I thought it was like on a swivel, but it really isn't. It's just kind of like molded together, like two pieces of plastic, and you can lower it just a little bit, but there's no swivel or anything there to really articulate it. It's just molded plastic, and the bottom part is softer, so you can kind of pull it down and make a little gap there, or you can close it up, and it doesn't close all the way. So I thought that this would be on like a little swivel, but it's not.
And with the Vintage Collection one, there is a little bit of a kind of gap there, but if you look closely in there, there is no like eyes that you can see of Fennec's head. It is just a black, just molded plastic. And here are the two figures side by side. Look pretty nice, I think. I don't know about the Vintage Collection one. There's just something off about it that I don't get.
So here you can see both the head sculpts. They're quite a bit different between the Vintage Collection and the Black Series. The Black Series one looks decent, but it doesn't have quite the likeness to Ming Na Wen, I think that's how you say her name, the actress who plays Fennec Shand. Comparing to like some of the other recent Black Series figures like Bo-Katan, where the likeness was just like right there on, 100% on the actress. This one here is, it's okay, but it's not as good as like say Bo-Katan.
And then the hair kind of just ruins it as well, because the hair has to be all like packed down and thin onto the like mold, so then the helmet will fit on, and they won't have to make the helmet so oversized.
Yeah. It's just like the Black Series one is kind of weird. Some angles it looks really good, and then you kind of turn the figure and look at it from another angle, and you're like, wait a second, that doesn't look right, or doesn't.
Yeah.
And the Vintage Collection one, it looks. You're talking about this tiny scale, and she's kind of a tiny person, so the figure is smaller than your average Vintage Collection figure.
Yeah, it is really small. Like, this is my pointer finger next to her entire leg, which is just insane.
Yeah, the Black Series rifle is just
as long as the figure itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like a 3.75 inch figure. It feels like one of those little small kind of like budget figures that they made. But yeah, it doesn't really feel like a Vintage Collection figure. It's like really small.
All right, so let's take a look at the back of the figures and see how they're made differently. The Vintage Collection one has like a layered soft goods, like kind of like a skirt, whereas this one is all, the Black Series one is all soft vinyl. And
the mold does look pretty cool though, but
yeah, you have this molding on the Black Series one, which looks nice, and it really doesn't hinder articulation. Like you can spread her legs apart, and it lays flat on her legs, where the Vintage Collection one, the soft goods are kind of flaring up and sticking out a little bit on that figure. So I'm not quite as, normally I'm all about soft goods, because I think it gives the figure more realism and it gives it more of a deluxe look. But in this case, I think this soft vinyl skirt thing actually works pretty good on the Black Series figure.
all right, with the Vintage Collection figure, I just want to go over it first for a little bit, because it's kind of different than the Black Series figure. And that is putting on the helmet. With the Black Series figure, we already know that it is just a helmet here you put on the head. Oh wow, that looks pretty weird. But yeah, you just put it on the head and it, slips on. Well, it's kind of different for the Vintage Collection figure, and it's not just popping off a head and putting another one on. There's actually a bit more to it. And here is the helmet. Before we show you how to kind of do it, I kind of want to compare the two. And I gotta say, I think the Vintage Collection one kind of looks better. Just has more kind of like weathering on it in those little like crevices and stuff.
Yeah, the weathering looks a lot better on the Vintage Collection helmet to me.
And it has more paint applications too. On the little under the visor here, it has like a silver trim, which is
Oh yeah, so
not
I see
present.
that. I didn't see that before. Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
All right, so yeah, with the vintage collection one here, the first thing you want to do, I guess you could take the head off first, but I am going to take off the ponytail or hairpiece here. And then now we're going to take off the head. And if you look on the helmet here, there's the like little dumbbell piece in there. And I'm not sure if it's better to put the hair in first or to put the head on. I think it's probably better to put the head on first. So I'm going to do that here. There we go. Snap in right there. And that looks pretty good. But for the finishing touch, let's put the hair piece in. Wow, this is pretty weird. Never really put hair into a figure before. Or onto a figure before. Alright, now I got the hair piece in, and that looks pretty good. You might want to keep it a bit loose, so then it kind of lays on the shoulder there instead of just looking like it's floating. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good, and I actually kind of like that better than it looks with the head sculpt on. I actually kind of think that looks a little bit better.
All right, now with the Black Series figure, it's a little bit more simpler process because you just fit the helmet over the head. But the only problem is if you open the visor, you're going to just see her forehead. So you've got to shift this helmet down and push it further down on the head and push it down forward. And then open up the visor, and then you should be able to see. Now I see her eyebrows, so we still need to come down some to get our eyes lined up with the helmet. So it is kind of, you have to kind of finagle with it to get it to the proper look. And there we can kind of see her eyes. I don't know if you can see it, but you can kind of see her eyes peeking out of the visor. So that's not too bad. And it fits the head nicely. I think it is a bit oversized a little bit, but you're going to have that with this style. But it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it actually looks pretty good.
All right, so here you can see Fennec Shand with the Boba Fett counterparts, and this dynamic duo from the Book of Boba Fett looks good together. I'm really glad that we finally got Fennec Shand to go with Boba Fett.
Yeah, I really think that this looks really nice. Vintage Collection and Black Series. Can't wait to have these guys side by side on the shelf together. And if you look at the Vintage Collection one, you can really tell the like size difference because really like see how Boba Fett is a like much larger figure than the Vintage Collection Fennec Shand. Yeah, it was really small, and you really see the size difference between them.
Yeah, I really do. Looking at these figures all together, I really do think the Fennec Shand Vintage Collection figure is a bit undersized compared to the Boba Fett Vintage Collection figure. And then looking at the Black Series ones and how Fennec Shand is not as small in the Black Series. I mean, just look at the Vintage Collection figure's legs. I mean, they are just tiny compared to Boba Fett's legs. All right, Alex. So how do you rate the Fennec Shand Vintage Collection figure?
I think I'm going to give the Vintage Collection Fennec Shand an 8 out of 10. And originally I was going to go for a 7 out of 10, but I think I bumped it up to an 8 out of 10 because of the soft goods and the paint applications. Just really good for a figure of this scale. And other than that, this figure is really nice, but really other than that, The cons are just like this figure is like really undersized, and it's really hard to really get it in all these poses whenever the sculpting of the figure is like this small. If you get what I mean. If like the arms are like really thin, so whenever you try to articulate it, it just ends up bending the arm. And same with the weapons. The weapons are really thin and like gummy and gooey, which is a huge problem that people are encountering throughout the Star Wars community, or the Star Wars collecting community. And Hasbro just really needs to fix that. But the soft goods look really good. They're kind of flaring out a bit. And then the paint applications are phenomenal in that figure.
Okay, I'm going to rate the Fennec Shand Black Series figure. I'm going to go with 4 out of 5 stars. I'm going to take a star off because of the lack of accessories versus the Vintage Collection figure. Has a whole lot more accessories. The Black Series figures did not. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. The figure overall, I was surprised that I actually liked it a lot better than I thought I was going to, especially the soft vinyl skirt, or whatever you call it, the hammock thing she's wearing. Actually works really well in the soft vinyl, and it has the molding on it that looks really good. At first I was really disappointed that this figure didn't have soft goods like the Vintage Collection figure, but now that I have the figure in hand, I don't mind that soft vinyl on this figure. And the head sculpt is just a tad, I mean, it's decent, but it's not 100% like more recent figures, Bo-Katan. So I'm going to take a star off for the lack of accessories. I think overall the figure is excellent. Well, it does lack some articulation. I would have liked to see butterfly joints in the shoulders. That would have let you get that sniper rifle in better poses. And as of right now, I can't get it into, very good, poses because the rifle is so big and she's kind of like a smaller figure. So 4 out of 5 stars. And overall, they're both excellent figures. I can't really rate one over the other. They both have their pros and cons. So I don't think there's a clear winner of which one is better in which scale. They're both excellent figures, but both with their pros and cons. Alex, how do you feel? Which one is better?
I honestly gotta say, I think the Black Series one is better for me.
All right, guys, that wraps up this video. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And remember, we're going to be having a 1,000 subscriber giveaway here pretty soon, hopefully. And give this video a like. That helps out our channel. And leave us a comment down below how you feel about the Fennec Shand figures. These figures have been out a little while, so a lot of the collectors have already gotten them. Tell us how you feel about these figures and if you like them or not. And Alex, take us out.
May the Force be with you, always.